Good morning, students. Today we will discuss about the inflorescence. That what do we mean by inflorescence? We can simply understand the arrangement of flowers on the floral axis is known as inflorescence, or we may also say the axis bearing flowers in a particular fashion is called an inflorescence. So, we may observe around ourselves. There, we may find different types of arrangement of the flowers on the floral axis. As we know, the flower is a modified shoot, whereas the shoot apical meristem changes to form the floral meristem. And as the inflorescence is concerned, it is of two types, racemose and cymose type of inflorescence. As the racemose inflorescence is the type of inflorescence in which the plant body grows or the main axis has indeterminate growth, means there is no any such type of limitation of the growth regarding of the main axis. Whereas on the other hand, the cymose type of inflorescence in which we may observe the main axis has determinate growth, means it has a fixed growth. And what are the arrangement of flowers are concerned, the flowers, they are present in acropetal succession in the case of racemose inflorescence, means older at the base and younger at the top, means as the main axis it would be growing day by day. Older flowers would be born at the basal part, whereas the younger flowers they would be growing at the top, or the we can say as the main axis would be growing, it would be developing on the apical region. Whereas on the other hand, in the case of cymose inflorescence, we may observe the flowers, it develops in basipetal order, means the older flowers they are at the top and the youngers are at base. As we may observe, the main axis has a determinate growth, so the older flower is born on the apex region or at the top region, and the younger flowers they would be born at the basal region. So here the flowers they are in the basipetal order, or simply to remind it that the which type of inflorescence in which the main axis has indeterminate growth, just you try to remind by the word race. In the racemose we may come across the word race is coming, which means to participate in the event, to participate, to accommodate in such way so that it may join the event to come or stood first. So just you understand by the word racemose, in which race word is coming, means might the plant or the main axis is participating in the race. So for remembering, you may just go through that, remind that in the case of racemose inflorescence, the main axis is participating in the race, or we may simply say the main axis has indeterminate growth. And obviously the other type, the cymose inflorescence, where the main axis would have determinate growth. So the flowers it would be born accordingly on both the types of case. In the case of racemose, do we have discussed, it would be in acropetal succession, whereas in the case of cymose inflorescence it would be in the basipetal order. Now we'll discuss about the longitudinal section of flower. As we all know, flower is the reproductive part of the plant in the case of angiospermic plants. We know the flower, they do bears different whorls which helps to complete the process of reproduction. As we know, within the flower, basically four whorls are present. They do are calyx, represented by the sepals, which are the outermost in the flower, mostly green in color. Corolla, which is represented by the petals, individual unit called as petals. In some of the flowers, they are brightly colored. In some having fragrance, they help to attract the insects. Whereas the third, which is androecium, having the stamens, means it is the male part in which anther, a bilobed structure, and a filamentous structure is present attached to the base of the flower. And whereas the fourth whorl, which is gynoecium, which has carpel or pistil, in which it is made up of three different parts: stigma, which is the flat receptive surface area which helps to receive the pollen grains, the style tubular structure, and the swollen part which is called as ovary. Within the ovule and embryo sac is present. So we know out of these four words, calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium, above two, calyx and corolla, they are also called as accessory words, as their part in the process of reproduction is concerned. They just do help to complete the process of reproduction. Just they helps in the assistance to complete the process of reproduction. As we know, calyx, it helps to protect the flower during the bud stage. Corolla, in most of the flowers, it helps to attract the insects for the purpose of pollination. And whereas the androecium and gynoecium, they are the, we can say, reproductive parts or reproductive whorls which helps to complete the process of fertilization. As we also know, if a flower, it has both the male and female organs, then the flower is called as a bisexual flower. Whereas if the flower bears either a male or female part, then it is called as unisexual flower. In some of the flowers, the calyx and the corolla, they are not separate. For example, in the case of lily flower, the calyx and corolla cannot be separated out, means it cannot be distinguished. So, in that case, the whorl is called as perianth. Now, we'll go through some more terms. We know the flower is attached to the main plant body with the help of a stalk, which is also called as pedicel. So, if in some of the cases the flower bears pedicel or stalk, in such case the flower is called pedicellate. Means if it bears pedicel or stalk, then it would be called as pedicellate. In some cases, the stalk or pedicel is absent. So, in such case, the flower is called as sessile. Normally, a flower arises in the axil of a small leaf-like structure which is called as bract. So, if this leaf-like structure is present within the axil, then it is called as bracteate. And if this leaf-like structure is not present, then it is called as ebracteate. A flower would be called as complete flower when it is bisexual in nature, means it is having both the sexual organs, androecium plus gynoecium, along with these two accessory whorls, which are calyx and corolla. Mean to say, if the flower is having all the four whorls, then the flower would be called as a complete flower. For example, in the picture, we may observe the diagram of a complete flower has been shown. Whereas, if the flower has not either any one word also or more than one word also, if they are absent, then the flower would be called as incomplete flower. Means any of the word is missing. For example, maybe calyx may be missing or like that, so, or maybe if any one of the male or female part is missing, then obviously that flower would be also called as incomplete flower. Now we'll discuss about the symmetry. As do we have discussed the term in the case of animal kingdom, there do we have discussed about different types of symmetry, that whether the animal can be divided into two equal halves either through one plane or through number of planes passing through the central axis. So there do we have categorized the animals into asymmetrical, then radially symmetrical and bilaterally symmetrical animals. Just like the flowers, they may be actinomorphic or means they show radial symmetry, or they are also called as regular, when in which case when the flower can be cut into two identical halves along any of the radii passing through the central axis. So means when the flower can be cut into two identical halves along any of the radii passing through the center, then it is called as radial symmetry or actinomorphic flowers. We also know it by regular flowers. For example, in the case of mustard, dhatura, chili, the flower can be divided into two identical halves along any of the radii passing through the center. Whereas, on the other hand, in the case of zygomorphic flowers, which is also called as bilateral symmetry, as in the case of animal kingdom also do we have discussed. So means when the flower can be cut into two identical halves only along one plane or radius passing through the center. For example, in the case of pea flower, bean flower, gulmohar, etc., we may observe the flower that the flower can be cut and divided into two identical halves only and only through one plane and passing through the center axis. So in such cases the flower is called as zygomorphic flowers, or we may say the flower is showing bilateral symmetry. Whereas there are certain flowers which are asymmetrical in nature, means it is also called as irregular flower, when the flower it cannot be cut into two identical halves along any plane, means we are unable to cut the flower into two identical halves along any plane, then it is called as asymmetrical flowers or irregular flower. For example, in the case of kana. So we may try to understand once more about the actinomorphic symmetry. Means when the flower it can be divided into two equal halves through any plane passing through the center of axis. Means if through this plane we cut the flower, it would be identical into two halves. If we cut the flower through this plane, then also it would be having two identical halves. Means through any plane when the flower is cut, if it shows two identical halves, then it is called as radial symmetry or actinomorphic flowers. Whereas in the case of zygomorphic flower or bilateral symmetry, do we have discussed that the flower can be transformed, or we can cut the flower only into two identical halves only and only through one plane. Means if the flower is being cut through this plane passing through the center of axis, then it can be represented as two identical halves. If we cut the flower like this way or this way, so in any of that condition it would not be representing two identical halves. Means the flower can be showing two identical halves only and only when it is cut through one plane passing through the center of axis. So it is called as zygomorphic or bilateral symmetry or zygomorphic flowers. Further on, a flower may be trimerous or tetramerous or pentamerous. So when the floral appendages, they are in the multiple of 3, means the sepals and petals, they are in the multiples of 3, then they are called as trimerous flowers. Or if the floral appendages, they are in the multiple of 4, then they are called as tetramerous flowers. Just like if the floral appendages, they are in multiple of 5, then they are called as pentamerous flowers. Now you will try to understand regarding the position of ovary within the flower. So based on the position of calyx, which are sepals, corolla, which are petals, and androecium. So based on the position of sepals, petals, and stamens in respect to the ovary on thalamus, the flowers may be of either of the 3 types. They may be either hypogynous, perigynous, or epigynous. So, in the case of hypogynous flower, what is the condition? That the gynoecium occupies the highest position, means the ovary, or we can say the carpel or pistil, it is situated upon the thalamus on the highest position with respect to the other parts of the whorls. So in this case, we may say the ovary in such flower is called to be as superior ovary. For example, in the case of mustard, China rose, brinjal, etc., the ovary or the gynoecium occupies the superior part upon the thalamus with respect to the other whorls. So it is called as superior ovary. Whereas in the case of perigynous flowers, the ovary is situated in the center and other parts of the flower are located on the rim of the thalamus. So what do we observe? In this case, the ovary is situated at the center and the other parts of the flower, they are located on the rim of the thalamus almost at the same level. So it is called as perigynous flower. And in this case, the ovary is said to be half inferior. So we may observe the ovary in this case is occupying in the midway position, and the other floral parts, they are also at the same level, we can say, along the rim of the thalamus. So in this case, the flower is called as perigynous flower and the ovary would be called as, we can say, half inferior ovary. For example, in the case of plum, rose, peach, pea, etc. Whereas in certain cases, when the margin of the thalamus it grows upwards, we may observe in this case the margin of the thalamus it grows upwards and it encloses the ovary. In this case, too, we may observe it is enclosing the ovary completely within it and getting fused with it, and the other parts of the flower arise above the ovary. So we may observe in this case the ovary, it is enclosed by the grown up thalamus, and the other parts of the flower, the stamens, the petals, they grow or arise above the ovary. So in this case, the ovary is called to be inferior ovary and the flower would be called as epigynous flower. For example, guava, cucumber, etc. So on the basis of position, we have discussed the flowers, the basis of position of the ovary, with respect to the other worlds, the flower, they may be of hypogynous type or perigynous type or epigynous type. Till so far here, thank you. Have a nice day.